Okay, with a pie chart, okay, you might have seen it before. If you haven't, that's okay. With a pie chart, okay, right? Basically, you have a circle, okay, with wedges cut out, and the wedges are cut of varying sizes. You know, you can think about a pizza pie. Maybe that might be better than a regular pie, you know, like dessert or something. But the slices of the pie, they correspond to the different categories, and the size of each wedge corresponds to the relative frequency. Notice I didn't say frequency, I said relative frequency. What's nice though about Google Sheets is it can calculate the relative frequency automatically. So again, if you have a frequency table, you could make a pie chart if you want. Okay, again, just think about a pizza pie, okay? Or really just, I guess, any pie if you want, where you have slices of it, but each slice would correspond to a category. The size of each slice would, the size of it corresponds to the relative frequency of that category. Okay? It's actually real easy to make. The steps are here. The only real difference then is that when you actually go to the chart options, I think is what it's called. Is that what it's called? I remember, you know, when you go to make a chart, you have to select pie chart for the type of chart you want. And there's different options, of course. In Customize, you can always mess around with the slice label. You can have it display the relative frequencies or not. So, for instance, if you go to Google Sheets, you can make this if you want, which we'll make shortly. I actually made some screenshots with it, okay, to actually make this pie chart. But again, this is what a pie chart would look like. Notice how these categories, each slice corresponds to a category. In this case, it's a score. The size of it, the size of the slice corresponds to the relative frequency. And that's what these percents are. It's the relative frequency. Remember, the relative frequency is the frequency divided by the sum of the frequencies. So this is one way you can make a pie chart. Notice you have the categories. You have this little line pointing to the slice that corresponds to the category. And you can see the relative frequencies in parentheses. I mean, to actually make this, even though I'm going to make one now, I do have screenshots on the slides, as you can see. You know, so just like before, you type in your data. And then it's just like before, what you do is you go to insert, then go to chart. Here we had bar graph, excuse me, column chart we had here. Google Sheets calls a bar graph a column chart for some reason. Why? I have no idea. But you can click pie chart here. And then you can mess around with the slice labels if you want. Okay? You know, you can do that. You can also, in fact, as on the next slide, if you go to legend here, you can actually eliminate these lines here. If you go to legend and tell it where to put and choose the right position. Let me show you what I mean though. So let me actually demonstrate this because I think that'll make it easier to understand. Again, you can always just play around with it yourself. So, all right, let me stop sharing this again. Okay, here we go. So let me see which one. This is with the letter grade one, okay? So now what we're going to do is let me just delete this. So assume we just typed in the data, right? So we're going to go to data. No, excuse me, not data. What am I saying? Insert, go to chart, right? Now we don't want this kind of graph. So we go to customize, chart style. No, not chart style. Where is it? Oh, here we go. In setup, I'm sorry. I said customize. In setup, we go to chart type. And we have this, a pie chart. See? So we got our pie chart. But again, we can actually mess around with it a bit. For instance, what we can do, let me see if I can find it. Customize. Go to, let me see, I think it's slices, if I remember correctly. Let me see. Slice label, that's what I was looking for. Here we go, pie chart. So it took me a minute to find. Go to slice label, and you could actually label the slices. For instance, here I have none. Here we have the label, which is the category. You can do percentage in that. You can do value and percentage. So again, in customize, you go to pie chart here, down arrow. You go to slice label, okay? And you could do different things. You could do none. Because of the lines here, you could tell which, category is which slice corresponds to which category. You go to percent, you can go to percentage or value and percentage. That's what I had in the slide, or just percentage. Okay. So value and percentage, we get this. Now, if you want to get rid of these lines here, you can go to, let's see. That's what you do. Go to legend. That's where you go to legend. Go to position. You can click none. See? Then it takes those lines away. Or you could do this, top. See? And it tells you which color corresponds to which category. So for legend, you go to position, you go to top, you can go bottom, left, or you can go to right. If you did auto, then you would have this. So you could do something like this on the right. So again, this is for legend. Okay, so again, let me say it again. Customize, right? After you get the chart, go to customize. To go to pie chart for the label, okay? You have value and percentage in there. The relative frequency is in parentheses. This other number is the actual frequency, as you can see. And then click that. If you go to legend, you can go to position, okay? You can go to none, and then you won't know, unless you have the frequency table here, which slice corresponds to which category. Or you can go to top, bottom. See, bottom, you would have it down here. It tells you which label corresponds to which color. Or you could just go to label to get this, the lines. You could do right, something like this you can do. So there's different options. Okay? That's one example, okay? Let me go back to the notes. Well, actually, before I do that, are there any questions about this? I mean, I really hope it makes sense what I'm doing. I mean, these videos I'll post. Okay, let me go back to the notes.